Amortize prior service cost. Wolt's company, a small business, has a defined benefit pension plan for its employees for several years. At the beginning of 2019, Wolt's amended the pension plan. This amendment provides for increased benefits based on services rendered by certain employees in prior periods. Wolt's actuary has determined that the related prior service cost amounts to $91,000. Wolt's has 4 participating employees who are expected to receive increased benefits. The following is a schedule identifying the employees and their expected years of future service. So we have employees 1 through 4 and their expected years of future service, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So first, 1A, using the straight line method, compute the average remaining service life. If required, round your answer to 1 decimal place. And so we can use the average function in Excel, or we can add all these together and divide by 4. We'll get the same thing, but we'll do it both ways. So if we type average and select the years of service, it gives us 3.5. We could, of course, also say 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, close parentheses, divide by 4, and we get that same 3.5. Using the straight line method, prepare a schedule to amortize the prior service costs. Enter all amounts as positive numbers. And so they already filled out the, what is happening right here? Let's change that. Okay, not relevant. Let me insert a row here. Sorry. They already provided us with this little table, and so we need to fill it out. Total prior service cost, they have given us as $91,000. And actually, that's just going to carry the whole way down, so we can just copy and paste that. Then the amortization to increase the pension expense is, since it's straight line, it's going to be the same. And so we will say here our 90,000 divided by our 3.5, and we need that to be an absolute cell reference so that it holds on to that 3.5. And we get 26,000, and we're only going to actually pull that down to 2021 because it's 3.5, so that means obviously the half year is going to come in here at 2022. The remaining prior service cost is going to be the prior service cost minus our amortization. And so then in the future years, that's our previous remaining service cost minus the amortization. Do that one more time, and we get 13,000, which is what we have to use for year 2022, and that makes sense because it's the half year and it's half the amortization, so that makes sense. Then let's merge this so that we can read it. Using the years of future service method instead, prepare a set of schedules to determine the amortization fraction for each year. Enter the amount or the amortization fractions as a fraction, for example, 3 out of 10. And so this really should just be white because this is the employee numbers, so employees 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then the beginning of this, we're just filling in the expected years of future service, which is coming from that table up above. So we'll say equals, and employee 1, there's 2 years, and we do want it to continue filling that down. And so we get 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're just entering a 1 to complete. It's our way of showing this 2 years of service. So 1 will be in, let me make this a little bigger so that we can see the years on there too. Or, oh my heavens. So 2019 and 1 year in 2020. For this person that has 3 more years, one will be 19, one will be 20, one will be in 2021. And so same thing the whole way down. We're just marking the ones for each year that will be their year of service. And then we're going to use a sum function to determine the total. And we'll pull that all the way across. And so that gives us the number of employees for 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23. And this really should be a blue. So then the fraction is going to be the number we have here, the amortization, or the total number of employees for that year divided by the total number of years, period. And so over here, this isn't part of the problem, but just for simplicity, we'll do a sum, and we get 14. And so that means that the fraction is going to be 4 out of 14, 4 out of 14, 3 out of 14, 2 out of 14, 1 out of 14. And remember that it told us to enter it as a fraction, so it doesn't want us to convert that to a decimal. And I'm under the impression that it doesn't want us to reduce these fractions because of the point that it's out of the 14 total years when combined between all the employees. So then it asks us to prepare the schedule to determine the amortization of the prior service cost. And so similar to above, the total prior service cost is still $91,000. And the amortization fraction, we can just pull down from our prior table. And then the amortization to increase the pension expense is going to be equal to that prior service cost times, and because this isn't set up as like the actual formula, we're just going to have to type it again. So if you were doing this in your own Excel sheet, you probably wouldn't have used it as the fraction 4 out of 14. You would have said equals 4 out of 14 and converted it to a decimal, but that's not how Cengage wants it entered into the system. So we'll just do it the longer version. So we get 26,000. The remaining prior service cost is still the same as the table above, where we're saying the total prior service cost minus this year's amortization. And then for all the future years, we'll take the prior year minus the current year. So this one's the same 4 out of 14, so it's going to be the same 26,000. 65,000 minus 26,000 gives us 39. Then for 2021, we have our 91,000 times 3 divided by 14. And we can actually just drag this formula down. And it filled in 1950, but as soon as we get a number here, it'll correct that for us. So in 2022, we have 91,000 times, open parentheses, 2 out of 14. And then we have 6,500 left, so that should be what we get here, but we'll just do the math to make sure. And it worked out perfect.